Previously on When the Moment Chooses You.
It is a trusting, kind of reciprocal type of relationship, because not only do we impart knowledge and wisdom and experience with our mentees also impart their knowledge, wisdom with us. And so I just love mentoring and want to do all that I can to basically grow our community of mentors. And like I said, it goes both ways. No matter where you're at in life, there's someone that was ahead of you, right? And there's someone that's behind you.
Yes.
So let's reach back and let's look forward, right? And that's how we're going to be here together.
So I'm wondering, Kim, did you have any mentors along your path? Did you have any mentors?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I had several
Yeah.
mentors that like I said, sought out. When I became part of the Bay Area Black Nurses Association, I received a scholarship when I was going to USF. And at the time, I could have joined, but I didn't. And I have a cousin who's a nurse, and she was involved in the national organization, and the conference had came to San Francisco, and she was like, hey, come down and help me out. And when I went to that event, like kind of like what you were speaking about when you met me, and you were in a space you
Yeah.
had not seen before or saw other people who looked like you, and it was like, wow, I want a part of that, or I want to be able to speak like
Yeah.
that, or I want to do that. That was that moment for me. And when I saw or went to the conference, I was sold. After that, I've been working for the National Black Nurses ever since. And along the way, I have picked my mentors, and now working in a structure and we have a program, it's so much easier to do that. But I've picked my mentors along the way, some that I've worked with, some that like I said, I've met in the community, that are in positions that I would like to be in. I've mentored my peers, or peers have mentored me. So yes, I have several, and I don't want to name them per se, but I have several mentors.
Yeah.
It's so essential to have a mentor, everyone. I think about just like our families, right? We think about the elders in our family, our parents. There's mentoring that happens. Mentoring looks a lot of different ways, but generally, someone who
Absolutely.
has more wisdom than you, or have experience in an area that you want to grow in, or that would just help you get to your next level. It's so important as far as mentorship, but it's essential, absolutely essential.
Yeah, I was reading something the other day and it said, let me see if I can remember. It said something like a coach talks to you, a mentor talks with you, and a sponsor talks about you.
Yes.
And I thought that was really interesting. Yeah, because, I always used to wonder, okay, well, what's the role of a sponsor? And then what about the role of a coach? So, anyway, it really just broke it down for me and I was able to see it a little bit differently. But I am so excited about your journey and what you're doing. I'm wondering if you can tell our audience, for someone is out there, Kim, and they probably are feeling a little bit lost and they don't really have a mentor. Like how did you go about finding a mentor? I know it, and it might be somebody that's not connected yet to the Black Nurses Association or the other organizations. So how does one find a mentor? What things do they look for in a mentor?
The things that they look for in a mentor is someone that they can approach, because that one of the things I hear from people are like, you're so approachable. And I think what we naturally do is put leaders like on a pedestal. Like, you probably think about your manager, the
Yeah.
relationship you have with your manager.
Yeah.
It's like they're not human, or they don't feel the same way that we are. Like, they're not human. And so
Yeah.
we start to create narratives that may not even be true, but someone you feel comfortable with to approach. Someone that's doing something that you're curious about, that is respected in their position and in their role, someone that's inspirational, someone that has influence. Those are, I think, key
Yeah.
things about a mentor that you want to seek out. And then I encourage asking, just like I said, the power of the ask, asking if you can have an
Yeah.
informational interview with them, or just a conversation with them, to then further pique your curiosity. If it's someone that you see like, I want to talk to that person, then take it a step further. Just like you said, you reached
Mm-hmm.
out to me after we connected in some way, and you reached out to me to find out more. And so after that, and if things
Right.
align, I think then you would ask them like, would you mind mentoring me? If it's not in like a program, usually when two people are already in a program, it already kind of falls together as far as that relationship. But that you seek those folks out, you get curious, you meet with them, and then after that, say like, is this someone that you would like to be your mentor, and ask them to mentor you.
Yeah, that's good. And hey, you said the most important thing. You got to make that ask, because if you, I mean, what is it? I think my mom used to say it all the time, and it's in the scriptures. If you don't ask, you won't get.
Yeah.
So you have to ask for something. It's just like I think about when I started this podcast, because all of the inner critic, the thoughts
Oh yeah.
that go on in our mind, and we're like, just like, oh, okay, who's going to be on this podcast? Nobody's going to be on this podcast. It's all of this inner critic talk
Oh,
that's going on, and really all you got to do is like press through that and make the ask. I remember when I was talking to Shola Richards in particular, and I was like, oh my gosh, I want to ask him so bad, but I got this war going on in my head.
right.
And then I finally was like, hey, could you be on my podcast? He said, absolutely.
Yes.
And I was so blown away because he said yes. But that has been it the whole time when I ask, and people are like, yeah, I can be on there. I see the value in it. And so I had to fight through that just because I wasn't used to asking.
Yes.
And so that has been a very powerful lesson for me as well with making the ask. I mean, regardless of whatever it is, if it's something that I'm trying to get to, I'm making the ask because I want to at least be able to say to myself, okay, Charlene, you did make the ask. It might not have came out like you wanted it to,
Right.
but as long as I do my part
Right.
to make the ask. So that's powerful, Kim. Thank you so much for that.
And a lot of times, yeah, we haven't had anyone to show us how to ask, right? We haven't
Yes.
had the models. And so
Yeah.
it becomes even harder or scarier to ask the question, because in our minds we're already saying, no, they're not gonna, they don't have time, they're too
Yep.
busy. We make up all these excuses in our heads. Yeah.
That's so true. So we're in this episode is most likely going to play in 2024.
Okay.
And so why don't you give the listening audience, some keys for 2024 that would come from you? Just some little wisdom gems to help people move in the right direction.
Right. So we've hit on it a couple of times throughout this segment, is we talked about like what's in our heads or what's in our minds, right? And one of the things that really has helped me, so the first thing is have a growth mindset. And so instead of discounting yourself, right? Think of things as being half full. Think of the yes already, right? Think of I'm already there versus the opposite. One of the things about growth mindset is that we are agile learners, right? We don't have a fixed mindset. So it means that we're constantly learning. As long as we're living, we are learning. Every moment is an opportunity to learn something. So have a growth mindset of this is tough, but I can get through, right? I failed, but I learned something from that. I'm going to fail forward, right? I learned something from that. And really that's so key. And that's what I've learned when I've led with my teams, is that we start to kind of normalize humanity, right? We're going to make mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
It's not always going to go right. But what did you learn from it? Like, instead of getting, being in these cultural punitive areas, especially in the workplace, as leaders have to create an environment and a culture where our people can learn. That's natural. That's what we're going to do. We're going to have failures, but really, like, let's highlight, okay, you failed, right? But what did you learn from that? So that's the first point. The growth mindset, be an agile learner. What did you learn from a failure and fail forward? So that's one point. Two is, we also talk about this too, is get out your head. A lot of us, especially as African American women, we have that imposter syndrome that is like we're faking it, or we're not really doing what we're wanting to do, or we're feeling like we're not worthy of the opportunities that are before us. We're a lot of times have to be overqualified, right? And we have to do extra just to get noticed sometimes, right? And so get out of our minds and see ourselves as we are already conquering, right? We're already in that place
Yeah.
and we're already there. So get out of our heads, because a lot of times we're listening to the negative thought. We're thinking of the defeat before we even try. So get out of your head.
Yes.
Okay. And then the
Yes.
last is stop playing safe, right? So we get complacent. We
Mm.
stay places for decades and we're not fully fulfilled,
Yes.
right? We're not fully fulfilled. We know we have more that's in us, right? We get complacent. So stop playing it safe. Take a risk, right? There's times when we start to
Yes.
outgrow our current state. When you outgrow that current state, you need to move from it. It's like those jeans, right? Like we can't button them up anymore. They're uncomfortable. You got to go to that next size, right? Or we need to go get the yoga pants, right? So we can have some stretch. We can have some room. So stop playing it safe and move out of that place of complacency where you're not truly maximizing and leveraging your God given talents, right? Because we've learned that your gifts will make room for you, right? But you can't keep playing it
Absolutely.
safe. You got to take that risk and move out. There's so much more for you when you start to take those risks and start to maybe gamble on your own self or bet on your own self for your success.
That's right.
So growth mindset,
I love those.
yes,
Those are
yes.
powerful.
So like GPS, I like
So say all three of them again.
G, growth mindset. 2, the other G is get out your head. And the S is stop playing it safe. GGS.
Yes.
Those are my 3.
I love it. That is powerful. And I hope you guys wrote those down. Those are really things to live by for 2024. Kim, it has been such an honor and a blessing to have you on again. You are so on fire. And I'm so happy about what really where God is taking you. And I'm going to constantly be looking at you and seeing what you're doing. But if people wanted to get in touch with you, is there a way that they can do that?
Absolutely. I'm on LinkedIn as Kim_J_Scott. I'm on Facebook as Kimberly Scott and on IG as Kim_J_Scott. You can email me at kim@kimjscott.com. And I want to thank you, Coach Charlene, for having me again. You know, in this world of the next thing and new content, I feel really special because you asked me to come back, and that means a lot. And
Yeah.
and just your whole attitude about pouring in to others is going to just you say I'm on fire, you're on fire, and I see you and I appreciate you and I want to thank you and give you your flowers now, because it's people
Oh,
like you who see things in other people, because we know we're going to get things done through relationship and through our connectivity
yeah, absolutely.
and inclusion. So I thank you so much, and I wish you all the best. Your podcast, I watch it on
Oh,
YouTube, and I'm really inspired. So this is, you ain't seen nothing yet.
oh, thank you.
Yes,
Yay,
yes.
that's right. Yeah, I'm excited for 2024 because there's going to be so much that happens. Now, I think, Kim, I'm not trying to be like negative, to be honest, but I think that what I see is that things may get challenging,
Mm-hmm.
but that's why we have to be better.
That's right.
We have to get better.
Yes.
We have to become more resilient. We have to love harder. We have to really lean into our passion. And I think that's what I like. The energy that I get from you is so powerful that you can't be around you and be depressed. You can't.
To me, I'm gonna turn it around. Like I have some people be
No.
like, it's like they start complaining. I'm like, but you woke up this morning, but you're breathing, but you have a roof over
Hey.
you got like, shut up, Kim. I'm like, for real, we have to really have an attitude of gratitude and really appreciate
Yeah.
things. A lot of people didn't wake up this morning, right? That's a gift. Today is a gift.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
maximize that. But you're right. You're right. And that's where the whole resilience piece come in. And I'm a co-author of the Diaries of a Resilient Black Nurse. And so if you want a copy, please do reach out to me at
Yes.
Kim J. Scott. Kim at kimjscott.com. If you want a copy, I'll autograph it and send it to you myself. But as you said, those challenging times is what makes us, which sharpens, our irons, which really help us to have a testimony, which is also important to tell your story. You can look at me
Yeah,
and put a label on me and think that I had a privileged life until you know my story, until I tell you my story and you hear it. And that's going to have a changing impact on people's lives. No one has your story. So please tell your story.
that's right.
Please tell your story.
Yes, somebody is waiting for you to just release that sound so that they can really be healed. Somebody might be even, I used to hear one of my mentors say, you know what? Until you get ready to step up and share your voice, there's somebody over in the corner just depressed and crying and waiting for Charlene to move beyond herself to say what's on her heart to say so you can touch those lives. And I never forgot that because, really, there's so much suffering in the world. But when you have that resilience in you and you have that love in you to touch humanity, then that is your responsibility to touch humanity. So I really applaud you and thank you. And I do, I'm so grateful for you and our relationship. And I know we have so much more to do together. So I'll be talking to you really soon.
All right. Thank you.
So do you want to do a quick little commercial about the conference coming up? Any more information? Can you give us like the dates and stuff for folks?
Yes. Give me one moment. All right. So
Start a little commercial real quick.
yes. So July 23rd through July 28th, the 52nd National Black Nurses Association Incorporated Conference and Institute will be in San Francisco at the Marriott Marquis. Now, the conference has not been in the Bay
All
Area
right.
for over 20 years. And our president, Dr. Sheldon
Wow.
Fields, with, of course, hearing the voices of the members, our conference was supposed to be in Hollywood, Florida. And because the political environment there that is really not helping people of color feel comfortable or safe to be in Florida, made the decision to pivot. And so we need everyone to come out. We need
Okay.
partners to come out, students of junior college, even in high school. We have a youth institute. We want to pour back into our communities. We're going to have a health fair that's also going to meet the needs of the community in the San Francisco Bay Area. The theme is advancing healthcare across the lifespan through reimagining nursing and human caring. So come out. You can go to the website, nbna.org, to find out more information. Abstracts have already gone out, and I can send you the link, Charlene, to share on your YouTube channel. So those of you who
that'll be great.
Work, please submit an abstract. They're due by February 15, 2024. And just looking forward to seeing you.
Okay, that's wonderful. Well, thank you so much. Okay, thank you, listeners, for checking Kim out. Kim is on fire, so catch some of that fire and connect with her. And Kim, thank you so much for being on the show again. And I'm sure we'll have another opportunity real soon.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you so much for joining us on When the Moment Chooses You. What a powerful segment by Kim Scott, Mentorship. I hope you enjoyed it. Now, I would love for you to subscribe to my YouTube channel and to follow me on social media. And guess what? Also, I'll make sure I put the links down in the description for the National Black Nurses Association Conference, as well as Kim's book. So I'll see you next week on When the Moment Chooses You.